on Facebook. Hi, Facebook. It's Courtney Burton here. I am back to life. I was really sick for a couple days and kind of just off the radar. But now I'm feeling a lot better. And this morning I woke up and I was listening to my personal development. I am currently doing this book. It's called Living Your Best Year Ever. It is a book by Darren Hardy, and I'm doing a whole workshop. So I'm listening to audios and I have daily tasks to complete, and it's kind of setting me up for success for next year. Which is pretty cool. But one of the things that I listened to today and I wanted to go live about was the fact that if you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And for some reason that really resonated with me. I think because I have been on my own kind of personal development journey in the past year, starting with Date with Destiny last year, which is an event I spoke about. I think Braden and I talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago. This thought, and it's so funny because you hear, hey Hazel, you hear these things. What's up, Danielle? You hear these things, but I feel like sometimes you have to hear them in a different way for them to really resonate with you. And this is one, for some reason this morning when I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what's going on here, right? For so long, I've had people that have been asking me, Braden and I this year personally and financially, personally in our relationship, we have overcome a lot of obstacles and really attained a lot of our goals in all those areas. And so I was trying to think, because I've had people ask me what did you guys do differently? What's going on? And for me, this quote resonated with me, that if you want to have more, you have to become more. And I'm going to give you this perfect example of it. So for example, in the teaching that I'm listening to right now, he describes how he was looking for, when he decided he was in his late 20s, early 30s, and he was like, I want to get married. I want to have a wife. And so he wrote down these specific qualities, from how the person looked, how they acted, how they treated other people, their family values, everything on this list. And then he set out to find that person. But even more so than setting out to find that person, he figured out what kind of person did he need to become to attract that person. So he wrote down all the qualities of the person that he wanted in his life as his life partner, and then decided who he needed to become in order to attract that person. And I feel like it's such a powerful statement. And this is the funny story behind this. This is the part of it that's just to me. So Braden and I, this is years ago, I think we were either engaged or just married. So I'm going to say, between 5 and 7 years ago, before Braden and I were on our personal development journey, before we started any of this, I was going through our files, because we have a file cabinet with all of our files. I'm going through our files and I pull out this list. And on this list says, my perfect woman. And I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, well, I was looking for who I wanted to be with. And so I needed to know who that was. And there's this full notebook. He's going to kill me. Whatever. There's a full notebook of all the qualities he's looking for in a woman. And I am talking, I'm talking aesthetically. I had to be shorter than him. Whatever. I'm talking personality. I'm talking family values. I'm talking financially. All these qualities of the person he was looking for. And I think it's at the time I was like, dude, what am I getting myself into? But now looking back at it, I'm like, that's so cool that he already had the foresight to figure out who he wanted to be with, and then in return, who he had to be in order to be with that person, right? And I'm not trying to say by any means I'm dream girl or anything. That's not what this is about. It's about, he wrote out his goals and what he wanted And therefore he got it. And like literally you could go through the list of things that he wrote down and it was like a check next to it. Like weird specific things like, you know, like the same sports, liked travel, close family, you know, like just, I'm not going to get into details, but you could tick off the things. And so it's so crazy to think that he wrote down that list, and then without even knowing it, because he wrote it down, he started the wheels in motion of the things that he needed to do in order to become the man that would attract somebody like me. Does that make sense? And so I think it's interesting because even now, 8.5 years into our relationship, he's constantly becoming the person that he needs to be to continue to attract me, and vice versa. Like I'm constantly working on becoming that person that he desires, that he wants, and the same thing. And so that is why I feel like that is a big key in creating a long-term, happy, sustainable relationship is becoming more so you can have more. And we're constantly growing. We're constantly, Stacey, you watching me on Instagram and Facebook, girl. I love it. And so I think, you know, success is something that you attract by the person you become. And so this past year, a lot of times people are asking Braden and I like, man, what have you guys done differently? Like things are just going different for you guys this year. What is happening? And I think it's because we are becoming the people that we always kind of knew lived inside of us, but maybe we were scared to let that person out, because the real Courtney Burton is a lot of Courtney Burton. Like I am a big person, like, you know, like not just that I'm 5'10", I'm big in personality. And sometimes I would hold myself back or maybe be a little more reserved because I was nervous of how other people would perceive me, or when people think I'm too out there, I'm too much, or, you know. And those of you like Stacey knew me when I was, Stacey, you knew me when I was like little, like 13, 14-year-old Courtney. And you know, that Courtney Burton did not care what people thought about her, right? Like she did not care. Hey, Casey. She did not care. And so I am now reverting back to 13, 14-year-old Courtney. But even in like, let me refocus my thoughts here. When I was younger, I wanted so much out of life. And so I worked towards that, and I worked hard in school, and I tried to do everything that I could in order to achieve little Courtney's goals. Like when I was a kid, I had all these goals, and I worked so hard to achieve those goals because I knew that I could do anything, right? And then as you get older, you start to think, maybe I can't do all that stuff that I wanted to do. And so now I'm just reverting back to myself when I was little, thinking, all right, in order to achieve these goals, what kind of person do I need to become? And that's it. That is like the secret to what Braden and I have been doing for the past year. And people are constantly asking me, what have you been doing differently? I have been looking at what I want to achieve and then creating the steps in myself to become that person to achieve those goals. And it's all about just becoming that person to achieve those goals. Whether it's in your business, in your relationships, you know, in order to attract that man, that husband, to keep your significant other's attention, who do you need to become? I'm not saying change yourself. I'm not saying change who you are. I'm saying elevate. Rise up to meet those goals and always be working on yourself. And that's why people think I'm crazy. But I'm doing the Living Your Best Year Ever. I have my passion planner ordered for next year. I already have my plan in place for my fitness for next year. I'm doing 80-day obsession. I'm starting my prep week this Wednesday. And I have my date of January 15th that I have my personal trainer of Autumn Calabrese doing a whole group with me. And so I think that having these things, oh my gosh, Danielle, it has been such an amazing year. So my friend Danielle over here, she was at Date with Destiny with me, and she was on my final day with Date with Destiny, and she legitimately like saw my moment that I became who I am or who I was going to be. Like she saw my more moment. And that is the moment that I think about all the time, that I'm constantly working on becoming that person at all times. And it's really amazing to have these moments. Hazel, so a passion planner is a weekly planner, and it's very similar to this, but I'm a firm believer in if you write down your goals, then they are going to happen. And that's why I'm doing this. And so this, I'm going to show you, has in here by the week. So it says week 35. So banner goals for the year. So I'm going to write down my 3 top goals that I'm determining right now for the year. And then it says top 3 goals for the week. So I'll have my weekly goals, top 3 goals for the month. So I'll be writing them down again. And the 3 most important events for the week. So for example, just be excellent in the few meetings, events that will have the biggest impact on your goals. And then you write down the steps that you need to take daily to get there. And so this has this weekly. The passion planner is really similar to it, but it has more, it's more of a gratitude weekly planner and daily planner, and kind of more of a just traditional planner, but with like gratitude and goals in it. And so it's funny, I was trying to decide between which 2 I wanted to do. And I said, why choose 2? I want to be more, right? You know, the more I write down my goals and the more I focus on things, the more successful I'm going to become. And so I decided that I will do the Living Your Best Year Ever and the Passion Planner. And every Sunday, you know, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write out my goals for the week and what I want to accomplish. And then I can put in my daily gratitude. And I think that that's really going to help me be even more successful, because that's one thing I lack in. I lack in organization and planning. Shocker. And so, yep, exactly, Hazel. Like I'm going to be doing this and Passion Planner. So I'm really excited. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to pop in here and chat with you guys for a little bit about the thought of, if you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And if you think about that and you think about the person you need to be, like I think about business deals. And you know what I mean? I know this might sound crazy to some people, like business deals. What are you talking about, Courtney? Your online health and fitness coach. But I also own my own paddleboard business. Braden and I are interested in investing in real estate. And I think about business deals. And I think about, specifically right now, I'm thinking about real estate deals. And who do I need to be in order to close that real estate deal? Do I need to show up as like the goofy, funny Courtney who's like all wackadoo and out there? Or do I need to be organized and plan, and I need to have, you know, the points that I want to make in place and ready to go? I can be all those things. And it's just figuring out who I need to be in that situation and to be that best version of myself in that situation in order to accomplish my goals. Because as far as, you know, being fun and outgoing and wacky and enjoying the best out of life, I can do that. Trust me. That's Courtney's every day. But also, and same thing with Braden. Braden is probably the most free-spirited, lighthearted dude that I know in certain circumstances. As far as business goes, anybody that's worked with business with Braden knows that he's not playing. He's the nicest guy in the world, but he also comes in with an agenda and with goals, and he gets them accomplished. And so for me, I'm thinking about my goals that I want to accomplish this year, my 3 banner goals that I just wrote down. And you know, a lot of them have to do with travel. They have to do with financial success. They have to do with relationship success, because those are the 3 things that I tend to focus on. And so now I'm reverse engineering those steps about how I can become that person even more to achieve those goals. And so that's just kind of what I wanted to pop in here and talk about today. If you guys have any questions about this, you know, specifically with that whole relationship thing and writing down the qualities that you want in a person and then striving to become the person that would attract those qualities, I think that is such a cool thing to think about. Because we all say, like, I want XYZ, right? Like, all my friends who are single say, I want XYZ out of this person. This is what I want in my life. But are you that person? Are you working on becoming the person that would attract that same level? Like even physically, guys, I have my friends all the time like, oh, I want my dude to be like, he can't be skinny. He has to be tall. He has to be this. He has to be that. Are you working on becoming the woman that's going to attract that dude? Or are you just kind of standing on your own laurels and being like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll get that dude. Like continuously work on your own personal growth, and the person that's going to meet you there will show up. So I just think that it's really important kind of reminder, and something that Braden and I focus on often. We talk about, you know, what we want out of life and what we want out of a partner. So I'm like over here rubbing my passion planner as it's going to tell me everything I need to know in life. But I just think it's interesting to think about, you know, always evolving and always becoming the person that you are meant to be. And always working on that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that you want to work on yourself some, right? Like I think it's a good thing. And that was something I was so scared of for so long, was to admit that I needed some personal growth and some personal development and some work. And that's something that, you know, Braden and I battled with for a long time, because he's been on that personal growth train, and you see him constantly elevating. And I wasn't on that train. I was on I'm fine. If you guys have watched my past videos, you know that. I'm cool. And so I think it's so interesting now to be able to be very open with my personal development journey and share with you guys, and share how it's elevated me and my successes and my relationships and just my whole journey. And so I'm stoked. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. If you guys have any questions, you can join me. I have a group going right now. You can join me and do the Living Your Best Year Ever, and set some own goals for yourself. And also I'm using the Passion Planner. That's the second thing I'm going to be using. It should be coming in a day or two. I got one for Braden for Christmas too. It comes in dudes versions. Like this is a dude thing too. But yeah, just become more. That's all. All right. Signing off, finishing on Facebook.